Now you're all drunk in my kitchen, curled in a field position to see playing the victim, to be listening to me. Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're fine. I hope you're doing well. I know Heartstopper has been aired by the time this video is up, so I will put here a little clip of myself reacting to it. I just finished watching Heartstopper. I finished it in less than 1 day. Expectable. So fucking amazing. I don't even have words. And yeah, let's continue with Loveless, of course. Anyway, let's get started. So, Loveless is the last book that Alice published in 2020. It's her fourth novel, standalone. It has really nothing to do with Heartstopper or Solitaire, but it is in the same universe. And this book is one of my favorites too. I think it's on my top 3 of Alice Oseman's books. Now, am I going to read what Goodreads says about it because I don't want to waste time? Yes, you guessed. Saoirse has never been in love, never kissed anyone, never even had a crush, same. But as a fanfic-obsessed romantic, she is sure she'll find her person one day, same. As she starts university with her best friends Pip and Jason, in a whole new town far from home, Saoirse is ready to find romance, and with her outgoing roommate, Rooney, my love, my dearest, I'll take you to therapy, on her side, and a place in the Shakespeare Society, her teenage dream is in sight. But when her romance plans compromise her friends, Saoirse ends up in her own comedy of errors, and she starts to question why love seems so easy for other people, but not for her. With new terms thrown at her, asexual and aromantic, Saoirse is more uncertain about her feelings than ever. Is she destined to remain loveless?
Oh, that's why they call it that.
Or has she been looking for the wrong thing all along? Well, we will be discovering that right now. Now, let's get started with what all of you were waiting for, my so relevant opinion. Okay, so this is not a surprise for any of us, but I like this book. I actually really like it. I think it's my favorite one, which is weird because it took me such a long time to finish it, and I'm talking about weeks. I think it took me like 2 months to finish this book. At first I thought it was really interesting, and actually the whole prom after party situation was so accurate, and I think I actually laughed out loud while reading how Saoirse almost sets her crush on fire because she panicked right before they almost kissed. I don't know why setting things on fire is something regular in these books, but I'm here for it. But continuing what I was saying, after they moved to college and Saoirse meets Rooney, the story started getting really boring for me. Maybe it's because the parties that they went to took so much of the book, and I felt really uncomfortable while reading those parts, and that's something I don't want to talk about. As you can tell, I'm a really anxious person, but I just loved the fact that these kinds of scenes made me so uncomfortable, because I think Alice perfectly represents how parties feel in my own experience, which is uncomfortable, sticky, and makes me so anxious. I don't think there's a single party or club that I went to without having a panic attack right after leaving. So as you can see, I'm definitely a party person. The vibe of the parties was so cool. And as I said, I actually had to stop reading for a moment, and that's why it took me so long to finish it, because the first part of the book, when all the parties appear, I was just like taking my time. And you know, I've been through the whole I'll find someone that you can be with situation at parties, and let me tell you, it did not go well. I relate to Saoirse so much when it comes to social events, and especially going to clubs. It feels so uncomfortable to be in a situation where you literally feel so pressured to be with someone because you're already 18 and you haven't kissed anyone yet, and your friends want to help you with the best of intentions, or at least I want to believe that, and you simply can't do it because it feels wrong. Now, this is not my current situation at all. This happened to a friend. Anyway, I don't want to get much into it, but Saoirse walking home alone at 3 a.m. because she can't stand being in a club anymore. It's literally me in my last day of school party. Sorry I got into talking about my own experience with parties so much. It's just, this was so relatable for me. Now, continuing with the story. Although I don't think what Saoirse did to Jason was something good, I do think it was something interesting for the story. Saoirse truly wanted to fall in love with him, and you can see that she really cares about Jason, and she does love him, but not in the way that Jason wants her to love him. And yeah, I think she always knew that love that she felt for him wasn't something romantic, and she tried to force herself to feel the same way that Jason did, and she ended up hurting him. And Jason is such a nice guy. He was just so sweet. He deserved better, and Saoirse knew that. Now, speaking of terrible decisions made by Saoirse, and I know I'm not explaining what happened in the book, but if you haven't read it, it's kind of pointless for you to be watching this video, unless you enjoy listening to me, which in that case, but go read it, it's a good book, read it. When I was reading the part where Saoirse and Rooney kiss,
what's going on?
I don't even want to know what kind of face I made while reading that scene. I was just like, what the fuck is going here? What's going on here? I was definitely not expecting that. I think me and Pip had almost the same reaction. By the way, poor Pip. She liked Rooney. Rooney liked her too, but just like Saoirse, she's not really good when it comes to taking action in a romantic sort of way. But yeah, the whole Shakespeare theme party and all the events that happened there was such a mess. I got really lost while reading the whole situation, and suddenly Saoirse was sad, and in this little cinema that was inside the party, and Rooney was there and they were kissing, and Pip walks in and she sees them and it's like, what's going on? She runs away, and then Saoirse and Rooney run after her because they want to explain her that it's not what she thinks it is, and Pip is like, you don't have to explain me anything because you're not my girlfriend, and Rooney is like, no, but I want to, and she's like, no, don't talk to me, and Saoirse, you're a bitch, and you know, it was such a mess for me, and it was just like, what's going on? I don't even know what I'm reading right now, but I loved it. I'm here for the drama. Now, I don't know how to connect this with what I was just saying. I would just change the topic and say that I would have liked to see more of Sunil's character. He's my favorite character ever, and he had like this sort of mystic guide energy that I loved so much. And they actually introduced the term of ero ace to Saoirse, and those moments where they get to talk about their identity and Saoirse starts questioning how she actually feels was so special. I really like seeing how characters bond with each other. I also love seeing that kind of connection that Saoirse had with Rooney and the kind of unique bond they had with each other. How they start living together almost by accident, and they share these little moments like Rooney's tea time after party. I really like seeing how the relationship develops with time, and yeah, I really like that. As well as I enjoyed those little moments of love and nice gestures that are portrayed in this book. I think it really shows how love can be something that is not only romantic. I think it portrays platonic love in a really beautiful way, like Saoirse's proposal to Pip to be her college wife, the whole scene with Saoirse and Rooney and Forrest, although that was a really stressful thing, the part when they get to meet each other and they talk and stuff. It truly is a beautiful story, and that's why I love this book so much. Now, I do have to say that although I loved this kind of things, I didn't really enjoy the ending. I mean, there wasn't anything wrong about it, like it was, I don't know, unrealistic or it didn't match the energy or whatever, but I will say that it felt a little rushed for me. I don't know, I wanted to see Saoirse's development in general. Although we get to see that in the book, I don't know, I just wanted to read more about it, and I just feel like jumping to the future where Saoirse and her friends are living together for their next year in college, it felt a little rushed in my opinion. But of course, as always, these are all things that I personally wanted to see and stuff. The ending wasn't bad, it was good and very wholesome. Now, I know I have mentioned this already in the video, but I want to make it a specific part of the video and a specific point because I'm here for it. One of the many things that I liked about this book, apart from the things that I have already mentioned, is that it has a lot of LGBTQ plus representation. Like, we have Saoirse, an ero ace girl who is trying to come to terms with her sexuality, and she's learning about all these new terms and finding out what makes her feel comfortable. We also have Sunil, my love, who is asexual and non-binary. We also have a woman-loving woman relationship, Pip and Rooney, that is also enemies to lover, my favorite trope. And then we have our straight ally fellow, Jason.
My best friend, Valentina, she's an ally. Talk, Valentina. Ally.
A special mention to the queer club that Sunil was running. And speaking of the queer club, I have to say that I related to Saoirse's feeling of finally belonging somewhere and feeling comfortable with a group of people. Last year, I attended one of the gender spectrum older teens groups, and I think that was one of the happiest moments in my life. I can't begin to explain how my mental health improved after entering this group. And I think I will leave in the description a link to the Gender Spectrum website so you can check it out. If you're queer and you don't have anyone to really talk about things, check it out. I really think you will find it useful. But then again, I got lost talking about my own experience. Anyway, in brief, nice LGBTQ plus representation. Alice, you did it again. Now we're going to get a little more proper, though I know nothing about writing books. But in my opinion, the story was really well written. And maybe this is because I have a really graphic imagination, if that makes sense. I felt like I was watching a movie when I was reading this book. Like, although I liked Solitaire, it was a bit uncomfortable to read it because it seemed like lots of things were happening all at once. And I feel like Loveless has more continuity in the story. I want to do a quick mention to Georgia's cool aunt, Alice. I love the moments that they share in the middle of the uncomfortable family reunion. But well, overall, I give Loveless a 9 out of 10. I know I haven't read the other books, but while I was reading Loveless, I was taking notes and I wrote 9 out of 10, so I'm rating it now 9 out of 10. It was an excellent story. It was fun. I connected with almost all the characters. It was really relatable, and it did give me the doses of queer representation that I needed. So yeah, basically, if you like a coming of age story, something nice, something chill to read with some lo-fi on the back, a little dramatic, it has sort of the British college aesthetic, and also if you want to read a book with a lot of queer representation and mostly race representation, I think you should read it. It's really good, it's really comforting. I found it relaxing to read. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope Netflix version of Heartstopper was good. Next week I'll be uploading my opinion about it, so if you want to hear what I think about the show, I will upload that video next week. And as always, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. So yeah.